Now I will start with the data here. So I'll plan my data first, but this is just one approach. I'll then move on to the design and the components as a next step. What do we need here? Well, obviously we got these two main features. We got the coaches and we got the requests, so the messages basically. I hope you can read my writing here. I'll soon start to draw and this will not be better. So yeah, that's why I'm also talking. Hopefully we're all on the same page at the end. So we got coaches and requests. These are our two main pieces of data. Now we will probably need a list of coaches. So we want that. And we probably also need a list of requests, right? Because multiple requests can be sent, also multiple requests to the same coach. Now, every request item, of course, should point at coaches. So a request will definitely be an important data piece, and a request will definitely hold some coach ID, because a request needs to be connected to the coach to which it was sent. Now, in addition, a request will need a message, right? The text that's sent to the coach. And so that the coach is able to respond, let's say a request should contain an email address. So these are the three pieces of data I want to have in a request. And we'll have a list of such requests also as part of the application. Now back to the coaches. What is a coach? Well, obviously, coaches are important. A coach will have an ID. A coach also will have a name. Let's say we have a first name and we have a last name here. Now we can have more data. I want to have a description where the coach simply is able to describe him or herself. And I want to have a rate. So the hourly rate we would charge for coaching. Now, that looks like a good set of data for me. And with that, we should have the core data entities, the core data models we'll need in this app. Coaches and requests. And requests through the coach ID are connected to coaches. Now, that's just a rough data model. You can definitely do this in a more professional way. You can use what you maybe learned in university. This is just a general plan, and that's how I like to start my projects. I now have a general idea of the data I'll need, and this will help me lay out Vuex later. For example, we'll probably have two Vuex modules. We'll have a module for coaches, and we'll have a module for requests. Now, of course, data or planning data and planning Vuex is not just about planning the data we want to store. It's also about planning our getters, our actions, our mutations. So regarding the getters, it will be straightforward. We want a getter to fetch all coaches and a getter to fetch all requests. Now, what about the mutations, though? What about those? Well, for a coach, we definitely need a mutation to register as a coach, and we need a mutation to set coaches, which might not be obvious, but when the app starts, I want to load coaches from a database, from a web server, so from a backend, from Firebase in this case, and once the data is loaded, once the list of coaches is loaded from the database, I want to set it in my local Vuex store. So these will be the two mutations I need for coaches. Now, for requests, I need a contact coach mutation, which basically sets or adds a new request. And I also need a set requests mutation here so that I can set my requests once I loaded them from a backend. Because just like coaches, requests will be sent to a database, will be stored in there, and I want to be able to load them from there and then set them through a mutation. So when it comes to actions, we basically have actions for loading coaches and loading requests, and we'll have actions for adding a new coach and for adding a new request. And this is about it regarding the data of this application. Now let's move on to the layout, the components, and also the routes we are going to work with.